Hello and welcome back to the final level of Let's Play Valis for the Sharp X68k. So, this is going to be another Thunder Force level. No, I wish the shmup mechanics were that good. So I didn't speak much over last level's cutscene. I didn't feel it was that appropriate. But apparently, Reiko managed to somehow come back from that undiscovered country from whose born no traveler returns. And this will be the only version of Valis 2 where she does such a thing. In the other versions, she's more of a ghost stalker rather than, you know, some kind of guardian angel or whatever it is now. I just call her Reiko the White. See that power-up? We're going to be avoiding all of them. But one of the things that really gets me about this stage is that we've already run Magus out of his fortress. He's fled to the deepest reaches of the Dark World, and he's not about to hatch some evil plot or blow up everything or whatever. We're just chasing him down to kill him. Once again, vengeance is the 6th stage of grief. Oh yes, in this level you have to go through these portals, otherwise you just loop the level over and over. Well, the section over and over. This stage has no life restoration, and I promised I'd tell you why. The life restorer in this game is an icon of Valia. I think you can figure out the rest. There are also 3 bosses in this stage. More normal bosses. That last one just had too many meanings for comfort. And we have the Hyper Armor. The Hyper Armor is hands down the best armor in the game. It gives us more hit points than any other armor we could have acquired throughout the game. And it has 3 times the damage reduction of the defense armor. So the real challenge in this level is taking... having enough health left to deal with the final boss. In case we've encountered our first of 3 bosses, Agie, and I don't think that I actually let him attack. I kind of overestimated my damage output at this point. And down he goes. The regular enemies here, the fireballs, just aren't that much of a problem, but there is a kind of fireball that can make things rather difficult. Yeah, that one that just sped past while doing a drive-by. They have 2 modes of attacks, doing the drive-by or just sticking on the screen and shooting you. They shoot so fast that their shots will actually stun lock you into place until they've left the screen, and they can do an enormous amount of damage if you let them. Yeah, that's one of them. I used the integral to break out of the stun lock. Anyway, while I do prefer the Valis series as one where the dead stay dead, one of the few reasons I prefer the Genesis version of Valis 3 over the Turbo CD version, but I can't say I especially mind Reiko coming back for this one. It figures into something that I do actually like about this version of Valis 2. That'll be explained once we get to the end credits. It'll be part of the whole final verdict review thing I do at the end. Yes, the first time I did this stage, I not only didn't know about the level 4 glitch, I found that out the hard way, but I also used up pretty much all of my gems once I made it to the final boss. Oh geez, I got pasted here. So when I got there, I actually ran out of flight time, and flight is pretty much required to avoid Magus's attacks, especially in his final phase. And here's the second boss of 3, who actually lasts long enough to start moving around, but he's something of a pushover. In truth, I've only really encountered one version of Valis 2 where the bosses are even close to really challenging. And amazingly, that's the one I'll be playing last SD Valis. However, even in that game, some of the bosses have an easy way to just plain cheese them so that you are in no danger at all. I don't know why Telenet dropped the ball so much across each iteration of Valis 2. Because Valis 1 Genesis was certainly more than just playable, and I do like Valis 3. And, well, Valis 4 for the Turbo. And here we are, this is Kilbade. He has no shots, this is all he does. And yeah, I never really appreciated how much the level 4 glitch hurts you until going through this game with the level 3 laser. So here's the lead up to the final boss, which is, of course, Magus. Now, he is actually a 3-phase boss fight. But since I wasn't a dumbass and brought plenty of jewels into the fight, I won't be running out of flight time anytime soon. And I went into this screen because I had to do something else with the recording. I don't really mind Telenet inserting these, well, basically shmup stages into the middle of Valis 2, because the controls are actually superior in flight mode than they are when you're just running and jumping around. And it's not so amazingly different that none of your skills are applicable to shooter mode. The one game that I really do think incorporated two divergent playstyles together really well was the Guardian Legend by Compile. I had considered doing Where I Play of that, but I'm not sure that I would be able to fill it with interesting enough commentary, and I don't really believe in doing action games in screenshot format. Anyway, here is the boss room. Okay, first phase, Magus throws out his cape and it becomes a wyvern. It's magic, I ain't gotta explain this. The Wyvern can be a bit unpredictable, but yeah. It goes down fast enough. The second form, well, this is the first time I actually had the second phase live long enough to attack, because I was pretty curious about what it does, but it's not impressive at all. What is that? Which leads us to the third phase. His shots move fast, there's no real pattern to them, but the top of the screen is safe. I would note that it's a safe spot and you have a homing weapon. You do the math. But I decide to fight and beat him properly for your sake. Megas is dead, all his works shall die.
メガス、愛することを知らないお前には絶対にわからない。私がお前に勝てたその力の秘密を。
力の秘密。
その力こそバリス。バリスある限りベカンティが栄えることはないわ。
バリス、愛する力。だが人間は愛し合うより憎しみ合うものならば、人間がこの世にある限りベカンティもまた滅びることはあるまい。ユウコ、バリスの戦士よ、人間どもが憎しみ合うよう待って、この目が必ずよみがえり、お前に復讐しよう。忘れるな。
メガス、ユウコ、ユウコ、アリア様、ご無事だったのですね。よく戦い抜いてくれました。ユウコ、これからもバリスの戦士として平和のために戦ってください。頼みましたよ。バリア様、バリア様。ユウコ、母は、いえ、王女はお隠れになりました。私たちはこんなに素敵な王女を持てたことを誇りに思います。そしてユウコ、あなたのような素晴らしい戦士に巡り会えたことを心から感謝しています。バリア様。ユウコ、私バルナは母の後を継いでバニティの新しい王女となるでしょう。どうかこれからも一緒に戦ってくださいね。はい、バルナ様。メイコ、ユウコ、よくやったわね。それでこそ私の親友よ。これからも頑張るのよ。私はいつでもあなたを見守っているわ。メイコ、ありがとう。ここまで戦えたのはあなたのおかげよ。メイコ、ありがとう。本当にありがとう。本当に。
And that's it. That's the end of Valis 2 for the Sharp X68k. So, the final verdict. This game is, if it were a food, it would be the proverbial candy apple with a razor blade inside. Sure, there are some parts that are perfectly tasty. I do like the equipment system and the large exploration-based levels. But eventually you're going to run into something that makes you bleed and cry. The controls needed a great deal of work that they just didn't get, and that really impairs a lot of the other aspects of this game. Now, the thing I was talking about before is that in most things, most Japanese productions that I've encountered that focus on it, when we talk about the power of love, what generally happens is that it's basically hooking up your powers to an external fusion reactor. But in this game, it goes about it a bit differently. Let me collect my thoughts on that. Basically, when we talk about the power of love in relation to Valis 2 for the Sharp, what Yuko was talking about, how it allowed her to win, let's take a look back. Basically, when Yuko was rather beat up after, killing Hazen and his whole army, it was Valia's love for Yuko that caused her to come forth and help her and actually succeed and retrieve the Phantasm jewelry for Yuko's sake. And when Yuko was at her lowest point before Magus, it was Yuko's previous compassion for Reiko that had caused her to wish to come back and become someone who could help Yuko however she could. So Yuko's love for Reiko put Reiko in a position to save her this time. And thanks to that, Yuko was able to survive and defeat Magus. And I think that's really how you should go about it. And also, I almost forgot to add this, because Magus was so cruel, destroyed his whole family, and even slaughtered his closest supporters, when he was desperate, dying, and alone, there was no one left to save him. And that's how you do it. Anyway, next up is Valis 2 for the Turbo CD, something some of you may have actually played. And I'll be seeing you then. And as we leave, don't forget to turn out the lights. This has been R-Typer, see you Starside.